The one of one is missing.
I knew something was up.
Pop, that's almost twice as much going for the same price.
I just freaking love that Rated Rookie logo.
Doing more buying.
Which one of these 5 quarterbacks has the worst set of pass catchers to throw the football to?
Guess how much I sniped this for an auction?
Number to 5, you dirty animal.
I'm telling you, these optic on-card autos are money.
Oh, baby! It is the no off-season football card quest. We've got rookie quarterback action, Andy. You dropped a 30-plus minute video. So today we are going to respond to some of those comments. This is a live show where you get to interact with both of us. We're doing this 3+ years. And Andy, I don't think I've been more excited about an off-season QB class, man. That all the rookie QBs look great, and that is good for the football card hobby.
It is good for the football card hobby. However, you have a pretty big divide between Topps and Panini, and some things that Topps does their customers, us, don't like, and things that Panini does that we don't like as well. So it's like, there is a pretty big divide. It is overall good though, because there's a lot of good players. I mean, the rookies were on full display this past weekend, Carter, and you did some nice film studies on JJ McCarthy and Jaden Daniels. I'm looking to pick your brain on in today's episode. But also, last week you mentioned you did like a ton of 99-cent auctions, man. I got to know how those went too.
Yeah. So a little bit later, for Hobby Tip of the Week, I did the most 99-cent auctions I've ever sat down and done. Short story, I got sick. I'm actually still sick. I've had an itch. I would never, ever wish this on anyone. And I had to stay up till 7 in the morning. Andy, I was just itching. But when I itched, I said, look, I can't go to sleep. Let me just dig through all my cards and 99-cent the hell out of it. And I did probably 150 or something like that, 150 listings, or it felt like 150. So a little bit later, I'm going to give you some tips on what you should and shouldn't do when you do that, because I learned a lot. But, Andy, I was going to talk about the rookie QBs, but it seems like I'm going to mix up our little show prep here. You're starting to get a little ticked off that you haven't got your rookie cards yet from Panini. So I want you to, and I'm pro Panini, I'm pro all these companies because I love football cards. I'm not a negative person, but dude, you need these rookie premier cards. We're so sick and tired of this BS.
Yeah. It's more delays on those. Still haven't got, the bulk of them. I've only received that one player. The rest of them are still in process. And if you look, like, where the people that didn't go to the National and get those cards from the VIP packs and the silver packs are like, we're kind of being punished because, all the non-Fanatics exclusive athletes that were printed in this Panini National set are selling for really good money, Carter. I don't know if you noticed this, but I highlighted Joe Milton III yesterday in Top 10 going up because he was printed pretty heavy in the Panini National set.
He was.
And his cards, like before his preseason debut, and he plays for the Patriots, they were like $25-$50, and now they've shot up, man. They're the blue, the specific one I was talking about, serial number now like $199. It's like up to $150 now. And just as like the base ones are like up to $30-$40. So that was just one example, but there's a bunch of guys that have those cards that are selling for really good money in the singles market because they're only pro uniform card right now. And that's kind of like one of the areas that Panini's really struggling.
Let's start off here with rookie quarterback number 1, Jaden Daniels. He was 2 for 3 in his only action. And he looked really good. I understand. Well, of course you're an LSU guy. Of course you're a film guy. Y'all, Jaden is good. Is his supporting cast the best? No. Do I love the receiving core? No. Do I love the play caller? No. Do I love the offensive line? Not really. But Jaden's good. He's got the juice. And the thing you have to factor in with Hector is even let's just say Jaden Daniels turns out to be Justin Fields, which he won't. He's a better processor and just better player. There are going to be games that Jaden has that was like Justin Fields. Andy, we were doing shows and we saw what Justin Fields prices did. There are going to be, I would guess this year, Andy, 3 weeks where Jaden Daniels is a top 3 fantasy QB. At least 3 weeks this year, right? He is the spike week king. So when those spike week happens, we saw this a few years ago with Joe Burrow when he had that 525-yard game versus the Ravens. It changed everything. So Jaden, I see we have a few Jaden questions here. Don Getter says Jaden Daniels, Sage, and Leaf autos. If they can be picked up at under 100, is that a solid buy right now? Long term, no. But short term, yes. If you get them and flip them, I think that they will continue to go up. This is a non-aesthetic one, horizontal auto, and that one going for 115, Andy.
Yeah, I do think Jaden has room to go up. I mean, there's going to come a point where I think his performance is going to supersede the fact that he plays for the Commanders. I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now. The reason why his values aren't higher is because he plays for the Commanders. Honestly, I think that's what it is, man. And so I think there's going to come a point that is his performance is going to supersede that. The fact that he is a rookie with that early first round draft capital. And he does have that beautiful deep ball, man. He put it right where only the receiver could get. I mean, you could not throw that any better. And you highlighted, you said that was a signature throw going back to his freshman year in college. He's been making that throw for years. If he can do a lot more of that, plus the running stuff, there's no reason why his prices don't go up.
All right, let's keep scrolling now. Let's see what the Superfractor went for. Okay, about a K. Okay.
And you notice these are all buy it nows.
Oh, the dude got 750 on that. That's a 1-of-1 Leaf map. That's not bad. I could see him turning around and getting one over $1,000 on that. But another thing, and it kind of goes along with Caleb Williams as well. We'll talk about him next. The good thing that both of them have going in their favor is they're in pretty big metropolis markets. Obviously, Chicago is way bigger than DC, but still. And neither of them have really had that legendary QB, right? Bears had Jim McMahon and Jay Cutler and Kyle Orton. And DC, look, they've had Joe Theismann, who's pretty well known, but is he like legendary? Not really. And it's been so long since then. You had the RG3 mess. So DC, which is a good sports card city, they're begging for a QB savior to save them. And DC hasn't been more excited about their team in a long time, Andy, because the ownership change now and has them really looking towards the future. So that's something else I really like about Jaden and Caleb. Not only do I think both of them are good, they're in QB starved markets.
Indeed. Yeah. And it is tough to compare Jaden Daniels rookie card prices to Caleb Williams because Caleb Williams has a lot more rookie cards, and it's easy just to go to that Bowman University first, the chrome with the first logo in the top right as Caleb Williams like main go-to card. Whereas you actually see the Jaden Daniels tops now transacting a lot more frequently. Like that's like become his kind of like his go-to card. On the more base side, you see now it's the score. I mean, a ton of these little scorecards are selling these score treats here. I mean, like, what would you prefer? This score treat card, Rising Stars with the little Commander's helmet at the bottom, right? Does have Red Card logo, but we're talking a little cardboard cardstock card, or the Tops Now rookie card. Neither one of them serial numbered. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's got some color matched Commanders there. But if you're having to pick, say you got $5-10 to put in, which one of those would you get?
I would definitely get the tops now.
Yeah.
One thing, this, Andy, this is the most common question I get about Jaden Daniels. All right. As someone who has watched every one of his college snaps, all right, it is my job to sit and watch this guy play football. All right. The injury risk. Everyone's worried about him getting hurt. Y'all, Jaden has been one of the most durable quarterbacks. He's never missed a game. He's never missed a game. Now, I'm not sitting here and telling you that he doesn't need to protect himself. He does. Look at Anthony Richardson. But Anthony Richardson, they're somewhat similar, not really similar. Jaden's more of a scrambler. Anthony better at not taking sacks and actually, still looking downfield. But they both do run a lot. Anthony Richardson's bigger than Jaden. Bigger. And he has consistently been hurt. Jaden has never really been hurt. Now, he's been concussed in the second half of the Alabama game, played the next week. He's had cuts on his face, still plays the next week. All right. Very bad personal tragedies have happened in his life during seasons. Didn't miss games. He is gritty, and he's tough. Now, once again, toughness doesn't protect you from injuries, but I would argue the opposite because injuries are random. And guess what? Kind of like Joe Burrow. If let's just say, God forbid, Jaden does get hurt. I think he's special. So guess what? If he gets hurt, it's a buying opportunity. I'll buy like I did Joe Burrow when he was hurt. And Herbert's prices were what everyone's wanted. So, I understand the injury risk, but number one, you can't predict injuries. And number two, if he does get hurt, let's just say midway through the rookie season, and more of his pro uniform cards are coming out, maybe that suppresses his value some, and that might be a buying opportunity for you.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's probably the best time to buy throughout the year is just to look for the most athletic guys that just don't get to start to the season that everybody expected. That was baked in. There is a certain level of expectations now baked in to these cards for Jaden Daniels and for Caleb Williams. And if they don't live up to those expectations, then their values are going to drop, and it's a combination of that and new sets being released, Score, Mosaic, Gold Standard, Luminance is going to be coming out soon, Donruss Elite with the pen pals and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a combination of those two factors could lead to buying opportunities. There's massive buying opportunities October, November.
Yes. And I understand Brad Nolan, he's going to call me out for my LSU homerism. It is a little bit different for me because if I buy a player, an LSU player that I like, and it goes down, I can live with it a little bit more than if you're just looking for someone to buy. I know Tim in our chat personally knows Jaden for a long time, and they're not like best friends or anything, but he'll tell you Jaden is a tough son of a gun. He is a tough dude. But I think Jaden's going to be great. Now, before we get to next topics, once again, if you want to learn more about the 99-cent auction world, we'll get to that in just a second. Andy, your overall thoughts on the rookie quarterbacks not named Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Not only your thoughts on how they played, but your thoughts on their card market. Because look at that. Wait, put that J.J. McCarthy card back up. That was insane. That was $1,000 card.
I still got 5 days and 7 hours left.
What?
Yeah, it once again. So this is the big difference, like between the JJ McCarthy market and the guys we just looked at. JJ was printed in the Panini National set, and so the Panini National set is just trumping or destroying all of the Tops Now and the Leaf and the Sage and all that stuff. This Panini National set is super primo right now for rookies. If the players are printed in it, you definitely want to target this set at value. This card still got 5 days and 7 hours left. It's serial numbered out of 10. It's got that little rookie card shield. It's chrome card. It's just a jersey number match, Carter. So I mean, this is gonna go. I don't know. It's gonna go pretty good. I mean, you did a film study on JJ McCarthy. I saw he had an ugly interception the first drive, and I was like, oh, that's not good because Sam Darnold had a nice laser over the middle of the field, but JJ McCarthy bounced back, didn't he, Carter? What'd you see from the rest of his debut?
So it's funny. I got hit on both ends of it because I did the film study and I didn't show the JJ McCarthy interception. And part of why I didn't show it is Jack Jones made the play for the Vegas Raiders. So like Jack Jones is like one of their 3 good defenders, or like Crosby and a few others. So yeah, it was a bad throw, but everything else after that looked good. Pocket presence looked good. Accuracy looked good. Sitting in the face of the blitz looked good. I will also tell you, though, Andy, the pre-snap defensive alignments and post-snap defensive alignments are some of the worst I've ever seen in an NFL game from the Raiders. It was just typical Raiders. So a lot of these throws looked tough, and he did put a lot of these throws right on the money, but they weren't technically NFL throws because the defensive alignments were so bad. With that said, JJ McCarthy's got juice. He's just good, right? I do believe he is a good starting quarterback in the NFL with, like Caleb Williams, a really good situation, right? You got Darisaw, you got Justin Jefferson, you got Kevin O'Connell. So you got Aaron Jones early in your career. I like JJ McCarthy. It wasn't my favorite pre-draft QB. I think he ended up being like tied for third for me on my list, but he's solid. Well, what say you?
Yeah, he looked solid, man. He came back. He looked really solid. I think this guy could actually be pretty decent. And it's an interesting battle because I'm looking at the prices right now. You're looking at like a Panini National out of $3.99 for $60. This is a card that over the long term, like say this time next year, even if JJ McCarthy is a starting quarterback for the Vikings, next year, this card I see being worth max like $30 or something like that. So it's already inflated because it's the only pro uniform, like officially licensed card out for him. Then you add in the fact that there is expectations for him, I think kind of baked in of being the starter pretty quickly here in Minnesota, especially after this past week. And we've definitely seen an increase in his values, pretty significant. And obviously you see all the buy it nows transactions here. So it's like, yeah, I think people need to be careful buying at the current prices that they're listed at. If they're above or at market value, like what you're seeing the solds are going for now, because that starting job, I think, is kind of baked into these prices already.
So I do collect QBs that wear number 9. It's my favorite QB number. And he is playing with Justin Jefferson. I'm personally not like a big McCarthy fan, like actually just being a fan of his. But he is an interesting guy, interesting personality. And something else I like about him, because Hector says JJ McCarthy looks like Mac Jones to him. Mac has some good throws as well. 2 things I would push back on. The first, I do agree with Hector. Not all these rookie quarterbacks are going to be good, right? One of them, even though they all have looked good in like just preseason action up to this point, outside of, we really haven't seen Drake May. Some of these guys aren't going to be good. It's not going to be 2020 over again. Okay, someone's not going to succeed at the first round QBs. They might all. We don't know. But I don't think Mac Jones is a perfect comparison for a few reasons. Mac had a better supporting cast at Alabama than JJ McCarthy had in Michigan. I don't know if that's really close. The second thing is JJ McCarthy can run. He's got legit dual threat athleticism. I would put his speed probably on the same par as like Steve Young as a runner, right? Like he's not just a pocket guy, but he's not, Vic back there. He's a really good runner. And Andy has a lot of velocity on his throws, right? Because he's not the absolute biggest guy. We don't necessarily consider him having a big arm. Had the highest MPH at the combine up there with Joe Milton. And Joe Milton has the best arm I've ever seen. So, I get that comparison. I've understood people making the same comparisons because they went to the same spot in the draft and they did come from traditionally elite programs. But I think Kevin O'Connell is a better coach for a young quarterback than Belichick. And I think having Justin motherfucking Jefferson locked in for the first 3 or 4 years of your career is going to give JJ McCarthy a pretty high floor, not only in fantasy, but real life.
Yeah, not even in any type of argument can be made that the Patriots receivers were worth anything compared to what he's got here in Minnesota. Check out this sold transaction from No Off Season Sports Cards. Here, this JJ McCarthy Panini Instant RPS first look from the NFLPA Rookie Premiere. Our man Paul Hickey sold this for $40 in a buy it now. This was a card that was ordered from Panini Direct pre-sale when they first came out for like $5, $6. And look at how much JJ McCarthy's gone up. The demand for his pro uniform Viking stuff is insane.
Okay. Andy, I hate to break it to you, but Paul Hickey actually stole your shipment of these cards and he's selling them off. Me and him are doing
I knew it.
We're doing backroom deals on you. I love it. Let's see. Wheezy Baby says Schefter just reported that JJ is having knee surgery. Ooh.
What?
Right when we're talking about it. So let's put our money where our mouth is. Okay. Let me quadruple confirm this. Live news action. Okay.
Breaking news. Yeah, man. It's like
right now.
Yeah, it's right on my thing. Look at that. Breaking news from Schefter. ESPN sources. JJ McCarthy is expected to be undergo knee surgery that will determine how much time he'll be sidelined. Pump the brakes, everybody. Pump the brakes.
Pump them.
A MRI Monday night. So he had knee surgery, but yeah, I mean, this could be very minor, like cleanup, preventative. It doesn't sound like it's going to be long term. Obviously, they would have. It could be, but I don't think this is going to be too long term here. And I think Sam Darnold was already kind of expected to start the season.
Sam Darnold's one of my favorite late round fantasy QBs. I could see the Vikings being like somewhat decent this year and they just roll with them all year. Like, I think one thing that makes McCarthy very different than the other QBs is there wasn't as much draft capital spent on him. They know they've got their superstar wide receiver locked in, and he's young, right? Like, this is why I think Jaden Daniels is going to be so good right out of the gate. He has started 9 straight years of football. Jaden Daniels has never sat the bench. He's never been a clipboard holder, right? Same thing with Penix, same thing with Bo Nix, who looked fine. We'll get into Bo here in a second. But McCarthy is still young. And unlike the other QBs, he really didn't have to go out there and win games for Michigan, right? He really was handed off, let's just find a way to win the game with Harbaugh at Michigan. So he still has a lot of growth, but the talent is definitely there. And Andy, this could be a buying opportunity. We see how hot his stuff actually got. Wait a few months, November, December might be the time. So it's very, very, very fun. But yeah, this could be a buy low opportunity. Andy, your thoughts on Bo Nix in his rookie debut?
Yeah, I thought it was. I was actually, I never really knew the rushing upside that Bo Nix kind of had. So I was kind of impressed that I think he's going to be better for like fan. I don't know if he's going to be a great football card investment, just because I think the Broncos are going to struggle from a win-loss perspective and probably miss the playoffs. I mean, I don't think this is a playoff team. But I do think that Bo Nix is going to be pretty decent in terms of just production and fantasy production. I think he fits in well to this Sean Payton offense. Probably going to be a lot of short throws and stuff. And it's probably going to be some running involved for Bo Nix. I didn't realize like he's got some decent athleticism. He can run as well. So that was interesting. I do think Bo Nix is more of like a buy in October, November versus right now, because I think people are getting excited right now with the preseason and the fact he's a rookie, but I just don't see the Broncos having a good win-loss, and that is going to be very hard for him to overcome come October, November, and I think ultimately that's the best time to buy him.
Yeah, the Sean Payton fit couldn't be better. He is a Sean Payton, get the football out QB. Bo Nix really knows the game. Son of a former Auburn QB. And then, of course, Bo Nix, like Jaden, started a lot in college. He never really sat at the bench. He just started. So, very experienced guy. You could see in the preseason game, his process was really sped up, and his pocket mechanics weren't really that great at all. But you could see the processing and the arm angles are really good. Above average arm, elite accuracy, really knows where to place a football. So I do like Bo Nix's floor. I don't think he's ever going to be like a top 3 QB in the NFL, but can he be Phillip Rivers? Maybe. I think that's a decent, really good upside case for him. But yeah, I do think he is a buy. He does have some name recognition, so we'll see how that goes. And Wheezy Baby and a few others want to talk about Spencer Rattler. Andy, did you see our guy Spencer light it up?
I did not. You're gonna have to fill me in on what the Rattler did. I saw a decent play from Hayner, but I did not catch the Rattler NFL debut highlights.
He looked good. He looked really good. But then again, one thing to keep in mind: all these these quarterbacks went up against backups, right? Jaden went up against mostly backups, and then Rattler's going up against the backups to the backups to the backups. So he looked really, really, really sharp. What makes his situation interesting, though, is he does need to beat out Jake Haener and Derek Carr, which I don't think that's going to happen because Jake Haener looked good. And Jake Haener has a locker room. He's fighting cancer while still playing on the team. He had a cancer surgery on his face. So, last time the Saints had a quarterback with the scar on his face, it worked out pretty good for him. So it's Rattler's got to beat him out. But Rattler, same thing as some of these older quarterbacks. 5 years of starters experience. Well, 4-ish. He sat behind Hurts a year. So, and Caleb for half a year. But still, Spencer looked fine. All these QBs look fine. I would be careful, though, because they did look good. There's going to be a little bit of a spike. I think there could be a better buying opportunity for someone like him in November. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Especially especially being third string on the depth chart. But Carter, I mean, there is so many skill position players that got debuts over the weekend as well. I mean, your guy Brian Thomas. We avoided a scare on Malik Neighbors and the Giants, and he's been having a great camp. Looks like he's going to be okay. There's a little bit of an injury scare there, but Brian Thomas looking really good. I think there is a possibility that Brian Thomas, because let's face it, Christian Kirk is not an alpha. Gabe Davis is not an alpha. I think Brian Thomas could emerge as a rookie alpha wide receiver for a team that's going to be in a ton of shootouts, the Jags. And we know that Trevor Lawrence, he likes to play aggressive. Doug Pearson, a quarterback-friendly coach, is going to call those more aggressive plays. And Brian Thomas is a guy, as you got to see a little bit on display over this past weekend, he can take top off a defense. He can beat press coverage, man coverage. This guy I think, can be really good in the NFL.
Yeah, so BTJ coming out, I always thought he was going to be better as a year or two guy as he settles into the NFL. A guy who started football late in high school and legit was spectacular for LSU. Now, I will say a lot of his numbers did come up against like some of the weaker competition, but you would look on film and see he's a good blocker, see he would be getting open against other elite corners and stuff like that. Andy, he had the highest RAS score of any LSU football player at the Combine ever. Like, think about Patrick Peterson. Think about Daniil Hunter. Think about all these freaks of nature. Jamar Chase that LSU's produced. BTJ, per RAS metrics, is the single most athletic LSU football player of all time. And you factor in that he's with Trevor freaking Lawrence. he's not really an alpha personality. You don't need to have it, but most of the elite receivers have that. I'm the BAMF here. I'm that guy. It's not really his personality. So I think there will be some growth there. But with Trevor, this is a quarterback that a receiver that Trevor has really needed. So the fit might be too good for him to not have a really good rookie season.
Yeah, and once again, he's in the Panini National set. And out of like all the first round talent that's in this set, Brian Thomas is like the cheapest guy. And that's because there's ambiguity on the depth chart. Jacksonville Jaguars don't have the biggest fan base, but they do get some pretty good primetime like slots. They get all those UK games. There is a lot of eyeballs on Trevor Lawrence, and there's a lot of expectations for this team. And if this guy emerges with like a 20-25% target share and puts up a few touchdowns like out of the gate here, I think we're going to see some pretty crazy hype. I am all in on these Panini National Brian Thomas cards, like these blue ones, for example. I mean, look at the color match there with the Jags. And we're talking being able to pick these cards up, serial numbered right on the front out of 50, rookie card shield in the top right for $35 out the door with 5, so 40, so $20 each. But you just saw the orange ones out of 199 are now selling for $20 each. So give me these for 20. I bet you turn around and flip them for 40, 50 here come first week of the season. And that's just based on the supply and demand and how slow Panini is getting new sets of these guys out the door. This set is just so liquid right now.
One rookie pass catcher, and then we'll get into hobby tip of the week that I want to talk about is tight end Ben Sinnott with the Commanders. Is probably one of my most drafted players in pre-draft. His price went up on Underdog, and he's got juice, man. He's got juice. He is athletic. He could play fullback. He just looks the part. And a lot of people felt the Commanders reached. That's about where I had him on my board. I mean, I think he's really, really, really good. And we have seen more rookie tight ends break out. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's Sam Laporta or Dalton Kincaid or anything like that. But, he's another one of those guys that I think will start slow because they brought Zach Ertz in. And they're going to play the corpse of Zach Ertz over a super athletic tight end. So that's when his pro uniform stuff starts coming out, I'm going to be buying heavy. If you pull Ben Sinnott, hit me up. I love me some Ben Sinnott. So there you go. Now, let's see what has been. Oh, look at Sage already at 29.
People are buying Ben because if you go look at the bottom for this card from Sage, the non-serial numbered version like this. This is like a $5-10 card over the past 90 days. But now all of a sudden we're starting to get, more looks that Ben is going to be heavily involved in this offense, versatile role. Carter, I didn't know that he won the nation's like Lowman Award for being the most prestigious like fullback last year in college football. Which is pretty crazy. And now he plays tight end. So it's like, man, this guy's a beast.
It looks weird because he wears number 34, right? The aesthetic, when you think Kansas State, you think like Darren Sproles. Like you don't think tight end, right? This dude is an athletic freak, right? Athletically, he is so gifted and versatile. And I can't imagine him and Jaden in the same backfield on some plays with Big B-Rob coming through the hole who both of us like a lot. So we're in on the Commanders. Even though their offensive line's not great, we'll see if Jaden and Ben can work around it. Let's see. Carol says Trevor needs an alpha. Yeah, hopefully BTJ can be that. Hector wants to know, Andy, if you're buying Topps Chrome Football when it comes out, one of the biggest stories, like actual sports card stories.
I'm not going to buy any of the sealed product because I'm terrified of what I'm going to not pull out of the box, or I should say not pull out of the box. But because I think the quality control with Topps, I'm afraid that it may be even worse than Panini. I've seen some, I've seen some recent stuff from Tops where guys are pulling what's supposed to be a CJ Stroud autograph card, and there's no auto on it, and it says right there, this autograph was witnessed by Tops, and the card is just missing no autograph. Like, so it's like you had one job, man.
One job.
So yeah, I will be targeting the singles. You know, I'm a big fan of Topps Chrome, Top Finest. I like those sets. I think you know, I'll be buying them based on the data that I see. You know, there's some aesthetic stuff that I'll probably buy for some of my Tampa Bay guys that I just like the look of. But then otherwise, what I do, Carter, is I go look and see what's moving up the most. Like, for example, if it's Benson Ott I'm after, and I see that his Sage silver card has gone from $5 in early July to now $35, then that's the card that I'm trying to target on the lower end. And so
Right.
I'll just kind of study the market and see what's moving up out of that Topps composite set the best and what's selling the best. And from there, that's the card that I will target for the player that I'm bullish on, you know?
One of my biggest regrets, Andy, was not buying more Sage autos earlier this offseason of guys that I think are going to be good like immediately. I wish I would have drafted more Ben Sinnott in the pre-draft process. I wish I would have bought more. God, dude, an auto on that card would have been so freaking sick. Like,
sorry, a little late past that segment, but look how egregious this is. The signing of all autograph cards is witnessed by a Topps representative to guarantee authenticity, and then it's just missing the autograph. Like, you had one job.
Dude, oh my God. Do you know, like, in the Astros, man, that would have been sick, man. Topps, you know, it's not football license, it is licensed. Man, God, I feel for Corey, man. I feel for you, bro.
Yeah, can you imagine how upsetting that would be? Like, oh man. And that's what concerns me. Like, just not hitting this period. Like, I don't know. I've never had good luck opening football card sealed product. So I just don't buy it. I mean, I guess if I got lucky in the beginning, like our guy Rhino Sports Cards, some of the CJ Stroud cards he's pulled is crazy. And but I've never been lucky like that. So I don't buy sealed product. I don't chase it. I go buy singles because I know what I'm getting, you know?
Well, Andy, what we'll do to increase your quote unquote luck is the new official channel name. It is the nooffseason.com Backyard Breaks Part 2 football card quest. And then that way your 20 downtowns in a single box luck would go your way. Huh? But yeah, one quick thing on Carol, and Chad makes a good point. As far as the Sage and Matt stuff, like, part of why I don't buy is those cards because they don't really have any long-term value. But now that I know that a $5 Ben Sinnott can get up to 30 per card, you know, I always feel if you're buying an autograph of any player that's good, all right, that you think is going to be just at least good, $5 out the door, or after shipping and stuff like that, $7 or $8 out the door is worth it. Because if that player ends up being decent, auto is going to go at least for 20 at all times. So it's it is what it is. Now, Andy, before we get in the hobby tip of the week, I love it as a YouTuber because this happens to me a lot. The best way to get your question in, if you want to have Andy or I answer a question and you absolutely want it to be answered, super chat it, because you're donating to Andy's research. His next 35-minute video deep dives cost a lot of money and time to put these things together. So Peyton has been really patient with this question, but moving forward, if you do super chat and donate to Andy, we go straight to your question. we'll finish the topic that we're on, and we'll just go straight in your question and over and over, and we'll go down the list of people. So, your thoughts, Andy, on Jalen Hurts after the Eagles lost last season? His stuff tanked.
Yeah, he is undervalued. I mean, he's in the same category as Tua Tagovailoa. So I think when you're looking at buying Jalen Hurts, you're kind of asking yourselves, do I want to buy Tua or do I want to buy Jalen Hurts? And I think those are kind of two guys that you're debating against, because you now look at Jordan Love and his cards across the board are now up in that Justin Herbert range. So now it's like Joe Burrow stands a class above everybody in terms of price, sports card price value. He's like neck and neck with CJ Stroud values, and Joe Burrow has a lot more supply. So Joe Burrow's like in another stratosphere. And then you got Herbert and now Jordan Love, who just stacked on a bunch more hype after his preseason debut. And Herbert's cooled off. I mean, he's in a boot right now. So, and you've got Jalen Hurts and Tua. I think those are the two best guys at value from the 2020 class. I think there's a lot of upside. I see guys drafting Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes ahead of Jalen Hurts for fantasy this year. And I don't get it. I think that there's still going to be plenty of rushing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. He was just in the Olympics commercial. Like, there's still Jalen Hurts is still very much right there in terms of being the face of the NFL. And he's been to a Super Bowl. And this is still a team with a top ranked offensive line. They've made a ton of improvements to the defense, and they still have some of the best receivers in the league. I am still very bullish on Jalen Hurts. I do think he's at value right now. You can get his base Prism PSA 10 for around $50. That is an absolute steal, because whether they start out the season 3-0 and he gets a really hot start, or they make a late push and go to the playoffs, I think this is going to be a guy that's and going back to your comment about Jaden, man, Jalen Hurts is a sturdy guy, man. He's built tough. He takes hits pretty well, and he typically stays in games.
I will say schematically, and this comes from Film Guy. Now, I'm not elite film guy. I'm not Brian Baldinger here. I am worried about Jason Kelce not being there anymore. By the way, shout out to Jason Kelce. Made a pretty huge flip on one of his cards. We'll talk about it in a second. But love Jason Kelce, one of the best centers of all time. This system with Kellen Moore is going to be very different than anything he's played for, right? It's going to be a little bit more process oriented instead of like RPO oriented with Steichen, and then it's going to be better than what they had last year. It is going to be different. I do think there'll be a little bit of an adjustment phase, but we know his top 3 targets are good. We know Goddard's good. We know Devonta Smith, a top 5 number 2, and then AJ Brown is just goated. He's unreal. So I'm still fine drafting Jalen at his price. And I'm also still fine buying his football cards. We have always been pro Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is probably the quarterback you've made the most money on of any of the QBs. I would guess, right? He's got to be in your top 2 or 3.
Yeah, honestly, him and Tua.
Right.
Him and Tua.
So before you actually don't put this up. Take this down. All right, because I want to show you something. All right. I want you to share my screen here in just a second, Andy, but I want to do a social experiment. Okay. So 2 days ago, a Jalen Hurts rookie ticket auto numbered to 50 was sold in a 99-cent auction. Okay. And it was a PSA 8. Jalen Hurts, rookie ticket auto, refractor, prism, whatever. And a Tua, same card, same serial number as well. PSA 9, rookie ticket auto, number to 50 sold. So you have the same exact cards, same exact serial number, coming from the same exact seller. Okay. Andy, what I want you to do, and I'll let people in the chat, I'll give you guys time. What was the price of the Jalen Hurts rookie ticket auto, number to 50, PSA 8, And what was the price of the Tua rookie ticket auto? PSA 9, number 250. All right, I want everyone to give it your best guess. Give it your best guess in the chat, and I'll reveal in just a second.
Yeah, I think the 8. I think the 8 went for lower, and with Jalen Hurts and Tua basically being neck and neck in price right now, Jalen Hurts is down quite a bit for just mysterious unknown reason. I'm gonna say that 8 went somewhere like around $1,300.
Okay. And what's your price on the Tua?
That is so low. If it is, I don't know if I'm right or not. We'll see.
Okay.
But
Right.
that is so low for a card numbered out of 50 rookie ticket auto.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what the grade is because an 8 is basically a raw card, you know?
Okay. And so we got 1,300. Price is right. I need to get my Drew Carey.
Yeah, and I think the Tua went for 2,000. I'm gonna say the Tua went for 2,000.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna reveal it.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Wow.
The Tua buyer got a freaking steal, bro.
Wow. Well, so the first thing that jumps off of me is the photography on the Tua is not as good.
Okay.
Like it's
That's
not
true.
like, it's not as crisp, as shiny looking as the Jalen Hurts here.
Oh, they're not the same card though. Oh, wait,
one's
are
a
they?
championship ticket, one's a playoff ticket. Yeah. I mean, just from a psychological standpoint, the word championship does
yeah, and you can see the hollow a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost near identical. Because this one doesn't have like a hollow on it. But when I saw this earlier, I was like, I wanted to quiz Andy because we talk about Jalen and Tua so much on here. Yeah, this doesn't have holographic foil on it, so it's not a. Damn, I thought this was going to be a. Well, this is still a thing though, Andy.
Yeah, I mean that card for Jordan Love right now is going to go for double, and Joe Burrow is going to go for triple. So it's like, and then Justin Herbert's going to be somewhere in between. So and so I go back to like, but these guys are starting mega franchise quarterbacks on great teams that have a very real chance if the ball bounces their way this year to put up some serious numbers, make the playoffs, and ultimately be very flippable. Whether or not you want to hold them long term, that's up to you. I'm in more of a buy and then flip and sell whenever I get to the desired amount of profit I want.
You could see how I was fooled by this though, because they were both the same serial numbered. But one thing I would say about this, Andy, though, it's amazing what color can do to a card, though. Right? Just that little holographic kind of foil on this Jalen, even though it's a slightly lower grade, is double the price of the Tua here. So yeah, I should have noticed a championship and playoff ticket, but I got caught up. Both the buyers being from China or the sellers being from China. It's interesting. But now, Andy, we get to hobby tip of the week.
Purely psychological there. Honestly, I mean, the Tua is the better buy in that situation because of the price point you were able to get it at and the scarcity. And even though it's a 9, I mean, that's kind of where I'm like, I draw the line of do I crack this out and put it in a one touch and sell it raw, or do I keep it in that slab? Definitely am cracking the 8 out, but at that price, I think I'm cracking that 2 out too, honestly.
Yeah, I'm definitely cracking that out, selling it raw. I think so. I think you can get 1,000 for raw if you take a really good photo on that. Andy, hobby tip of the week. I'll let you go first.
Okay. Hobby tip of the week. Yeah. So real quick, let's shout out to our sponsors, nooffseason.com, CGC card grading. They're still doing bulk submissions for as low as $11 per card, 25 card minimum. And it's absolutely incredible deal for their crystal clear holders, consistent grading, super strong plastic. If you want to protect your football card collection, they're a growing sports card grading company. And and they have new holders of all sizes, and they authenticate autographs from events. So it's really cool grading company, cgccards.com. My other hobby tip, Carter, is going to be sealed boxes. People love to rip, man. People love to rip. So I love to give you guys an idea of what's going on out there, what the best sellers are on blowoutcards.com. Pre-orders for 2024 Panini Score. You guys have seen a lot of those that we've been showcasing, like these orange pumpkin parallel Score treat cards. These are all, most of these cards from Score are going to be like $5 or less cards, even for quarterbacks. But, you know, they are going to have some autograph cards. They have a pretty deep checklist, and there's some interesting case hits out of there as well, like the alien case hit from last year that did pretty well. I mean, even on deep sleepers, it was going for $30-$40. Primetime first round players, I mean, this card was going for $150-$200. So there's some stuff to definitely chase out of the Score. Deep checklist, big box. If you want to feel like you've gotten a ton of cards for your money, even though it's this base, paper cardboard, like a base Donruss card. Look at what you're going to get out of a box. You're going to get 90 rookies, 36 inserts, 10 parallels, 4 autographs. So it's actually it's a fun rip in that sense that it's got a huge 40 cards per pack, 10 packs. You're getting 400 cards for $250. So that's kind of fun, especially if you're going to give this to your kid, right? That would kind of be a fun set that I would recommend. If you're going for a big time, like Anthony Richardson rookie ticket auto, it's got to be Contenders Optic, because in today's day and age, the cracked ice, the silver prism Optic Contenders, the rookie ticket autos from this set go for big bucks. And these are going to be super premium rookie ticket autos from the set. It's just the problem is it's one pack of 6 cards, Carter. And so your hit rate on getting a good rookie ticket auto is low. And I would just wait and target the singles. I would rather spend $250 and get one Bijan Robinson than buy 15 boxes trying to chase it,
Repeat it again. So one pack, $500.
What? So, yeah. Oh, did I say 250? Yeah, my bad. One pack of 6 cards for $500.
There's no way you're getting ROI on that. I'm sorry. You'd have to pull the nuts. Legit. You think about it this way. You would need to sit down, play one hand of Texas Hold'em, and hit a full house your very first hand, basically. Right?
Yeah.
And as you know, Andy, it's very, very, very unlikely. So
the 2 autos. So the box break says 2 autos, but remember, this is going to be on average.
Average. Yeah.
And I've been on the low end of that average. Like, I've opened boxes where I have not gotten the average, man. Let's put it that way. So don't assume that you're just automatically, and this doesn't, like the rookie of the year. So this is one interesting hobby tip. The rookie of the year autos from Contenders Optic don't sell for anywhere near what the rookie ticket autos sell for. And those are autograph cards. So keep that in mind. There's other inserts in the set, not just the rookie ticket autos, that sell for a lot less than what the actual rookie ticket autos sell for. So almost guaranteed that unless you get super lucky, like Carter said, you're not gonna, this box at $500 is not gonna pay off. You're way better waiting to snipe the singles.
All right, Andy, my hobby tip of the week. So like I said earlier, I got really sick. Okay. And it wasn't like life threatening or anything like that, but I did stay up really late, and I was like, I'm going to do something productive, because that doctor's bills and stuff like that. I was like, let me just sell some of these 99-cent cards, some that were in like grocery sacks, some that were in like this big Derek Jeter box. And I found some really like nice stuff, a few like Jordans that I got when I was little from my dad, and just some other LSU cards. And they did really well. Now, a few things. Andy, we agree on a lot. We disagree on a lot. You are not a 99-cent auction guy. Okay. The only card friend of mine that lives in town hates 99-cent auctions as well. Love both of you. And I know Chad was joking with one of our viewers about, a CJ Stroud card. If you should 99-cent let it ride. I understand you're putting a lot of faith in eBay, and you're putting a lot of faith in people out there finding your 99-cent auction, the algorithm putting it out there. But folks, it gets the most eyeballs. All right. I understand it's a gamble. I've had some 99-cent auctions blow up in my face. Had a really nice TJ Watt card. This happened a few years ago. You can find the episode. Went for $2. Okay. But if a player is for sure liquid, okay, if it's CJ Stroud or Michael Jordan, someone that is truly in the upper tier, seriously consider it, right? If you really want to move the card. Now, buy it nows are better because you're going to get your maximum price more often than not, the price that you want. You could set it. Also, for me, Andy, I've had a lot of 99-cent auctions cancel. You're going to get flakier buyers with 99-cent auctions, and it is frustrating to relist it and all of that. But, Andy, as you saw, I sent you, what I made. Like, it's amazing how many cards I have that just sit around here that don't mean as much to me anymore, right? So if you want to get some stuff out, pump it out. And another thing is eBay loves pushing auctions. They do, right? They don't want 1,000 buy it now cards. They know that they put this out, and many people, they know it's going to sell, and they know people love being in auctions. So that was my experience. I did have one of my higher end cards that I listed. Buyer flaked out. It sucks. Okay. I'll just relist it and I'll move on. Okay. So, Richard asked, and I'll ask you, Andy, do you use the promote option when you do an auction? But you rarely do auctions. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the promote feature is very important, especially when you have a card that is more common and you have there's a lot of other available listings that are the same title and description as your card. I think that's when you have to use the promote feature. And what I like to do is I like to start out at 2%. Put a 2% promotion, go grab your wife's phone, go on eBay and search up your card to see if it pops up on the first page. See how far down the listing your card is with just 2%, because sometimes nobody else is promoting. So if you just do 2%, that gets you on the first page and it gets you up there pretty good. Other times you're not even close and you've got to bump it up. And that definitely helps, because especially when you look at the sold data and how it's so hyper relevant, literally when the highlight happens, that's when the sales start popping off. And so on game days, on the weekends right now, it's super liquid, and you want to have that card listed ready to go. And that's why I do buy it now. So it's I'm sitting there, and a lot of times these people, if it's in their budget range, they already had in their head, they're going to spend $50-$60, or some of them maybe they're going to spend $100-$150, depending on what their bankroll and stuff looks like. And your card's right there ready to go. They quick hit that thing to get it, man, because they feel like they're going to miss out if they don't. So that's why I do like the promotion feature, and I do like the buy it now feature.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so let's take James here. First off, James brings up eBay does a second. I actually forgot about this. That's why I love doing the show. I've never had to do the second chance offer thing, so I'm going to go do that right after the show. I'm going to give this guy one final chance, even though he said he's not going to buy the card, and it went for $250. Okay, and the guy didn't pay. I get it, whatever. But there's another guy who said, he sent me a message, and listen to this, Andy. He said, do you combine shipping on all cards? I said, yes, I do. Okay. And then he only ended up buying one card. The card ended at $10. And he said, I don't have the funds to pay for it. I was like, dude, what the hell? You're wondering if you could combine shipping And then you want to back out of a $10 card? $10 card? But whatever. I don't know. It's just one of those things, like, and it's changed for me in this past like year and a half. If I want something out, I'll just take a minor loss on it because it's just sitting here, right? And James, I'll be honest, a few of these I did take minor losses. I will also say, outside of a few like $200 ones, I did make some money doing the $5 box search. Okay. I know we do a lot of dollar box hunting, but I have actually, Andy, had more success going to $5 boxes at card shows or $10 boxes where I could find 2 cards and say, hey, will you do 10 for these 2? Okay. Did that with a Jason Kelsey Green Prism, got 2 cards for $10 and did a 99-cent, sold for 19, right? So I did a lot of that as well recently at a show because I just got bored. But, that was also something pretty profitable for some of my sales I made this weekend. So don't discount a 99-cent auction. I know my guy, Hector says, so wait 4 days for non-payers so they can get an eBay ding. Is that how that works, Andy? I really don't know. Like, I've not dealt with a whole lot of non-payers.
Yeah, that is the best standard operating procedure to follow whenever you have a non-payer. You could cancel on them right away, and sometimes, honestly, it does like make more sense to do it because you risk maybe your player getting injured or just the hyper relevancy wearing off. What if it's like a Dorian Thompson-Robinson you've been trying to move forever? Finally, he's relevant again because he's a preseason wonder, and you had a chance to move him, and you had the first guy that didn't pay. I cancel right away and relist that thing and sell it to the next guy without waiting. But yes, if you wait the full period that eBay gives them and then cancel on them, it will give them a ding.
All right, Jim, we are coming towards the end. He asked about Arena Club. Let me do more research on that. I get a lot of emails from them all the time. We'll talk about them next week. So come back next week and we can have a deeper convo on this. Shane's shouting you out, Andy, for your Evan Hull rookie ticket auto play. There we go. Evan Hull scored a touchdown in the preseason this weekend. Let's go, E-Hull. That guy's crazy fast.
Hey, that's why I wrote him up weeks ago and said, watch out for this cat. This is the sleeper RB you guys want to buy.
Michael Ham. What's up, Ham? That's one of the best sports card creators. Hope you had fun in Cleveland, my brother. All right, Andy, your work stuff obviously is blowing up here.
Yeah, sorry.
No, dude, everyone's like, what's going on? They're probably looking at their computers. Quick play of the week. Let's go.
Yeah, I've got the volume cranked up on my other stuff over here. Yeah, man. So Evan Hull's still a buy. Evan Hull, his sold volume has gone up a little bit, but he doesn't have many rookie cards, and he's a second-year player. I love second-year players. The guy only got like one game last year before he got hurt, and that was it. And he secretly got a very impressive athletic profile. And you look at the depth chart around him, like guys are like bullish on Trey Sermon. Like, come on, really? Like let's look at the athletic profiles and the age and the production profile of these guys here. Evan Hull's the next man up behind Jonathan Taylor and what should be a really potent rushing attack. So very, very interested in him as a handcuff. It's like right now people are buying Braylon Allen because he's one of the best. He's emerged as one of the best handcuffs in the league behind Breece Hall, who's a super dynamic, explosive bell cow running back. And if he goes down, all of a sudden Braylon Allen is going to have this huge role, and he's already shown he can have pretty impressive efficiency and be like this all-purpose running back. And he plays for a good team. Evan Hull's that guy just for the Colts. So, and he's like a fraction of the price. Pro Uniform rookie ticket auto. I was looking at our auction yesterday, and for less than $5, dude. How can that not be the play of the week? If you want sleepers and you want to get in for low risk, is Evan Hull. How long has my face been frozen?
You're still frozen. Yeah, it literally looks like you're wiping your ass. Like right now. It literally does. Like
Or I'm like lifting one cheek up to get the fart out.
yeah, you just try it does there okay, now God, you are boomering so hard right now. I love it. This is what Paul Hickey, nooffseason.com. This is a content that this has been a legendary episode. This is the most fun I've had in an episode in a while. I didn't even know we're an hour deep. So now look at you going full boom. Next thing you know, Andy's gonna pop up and there's gonna be like a cat on his face. One of those one of those filters. Oh God. My play of the week while Andy fixes his camera. Now you're red. What the hell was that, dude? You were in the middle of a Mission Impossible. What is going on? You okay?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in there, man. It's been a little.
I felt like a Navy SEAL had a freaking sight on your head for a second.
The computer got just like I blew its brain when I was, Evan Hole was.
It was dinging 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It was like what? Interesting. I'll go quickly here. A.T. Perry, wide receiver for the Saints, right? I think at this point, Saints have a clear 1, 2, 3, with Juwan Johnson as a tight end being the third. But two things I like about A.T. Perry. Deep ball threat. I feel he's going to have a few spike weeks this year. He looked good in the preseason, not great. His metrics last year weren't the absolute best either. But what I will say that adds a little, and this is a little thing, is some of these college uniform cards are like black and gold, so it kind of looks like the Saints. So the unlicensed stuff kind of looks cool for him. But still, I think you're going to get some decent weeks this year out of A.T. Perry as teams will focus in on Olave and Shaheed. Price point. Some of these are a little high for me, but look, there's a silver prism right there that goes for $2, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't have many cards. And some of these, like you're looking at that from Obsidian, it's so rare. It's out of 3 for less than $40. It's actually pretty low. Like that's a deal.
So yeah, I think he's got enough to give me a spike week.
I like A.T. Perry. That's why I was buying Rashid Shaheed. Limited supply, like open depth chart behind Chris Olave. A.T. Perry looked good, man.
So one more here. I'll say I was going to save it for next week, but it might be too late. Y'all, if something were to happen to Devon Achane or Raheem Mostert, do you understand that Jalen Wright
Let's go
is the clear RB2, and the Dolphins rotate their running backs a lot, and Jalen Wright is just as athletic as those guys. Like, he's not as fast as Achane, but he's a little bit more durable. He's not as big as Mostert, but Jalen Wright's good. Like, I saw enough in this first preseason game. One that is best, but he goes from a Tennessee popcorn offense to another popcorn offense that schemes things up really well. So Mostert and Achane are perennially injured players.
Mm-hmm.
One of them are going to go down, and that means Jalen Wright's going to have at least one massive top 10 fantasy finish this year. So, and I actually am drafting a lot of Mostert and Achane. I'm actually putting my money where my mouth is. But Jalen Wright's good. He's just good. I'm just going to put it out there. He's good.
I like the way he takes hits, and that's an important trait to have as a running back, especially one that's involved in a lot of collisions. Like the guy doesn't seem to ever take clean hits. And like I was looking into this in his college profile, and he played the same way. Like he doesn't take clean hits, and like he gets more yards after contact that way. But I think he also is going to preserve his body a lot longer playing that way as well. So, and that like that cutback across the field, like, oof, man, this guy he's going to put up some big highlights Yeah, and his market's so limited. Like you're literally like whoever gets these Jalen Wrights, like I probably have some autograph ones that maybe will come eventually. Whoever gets these, they're gonna be the top card of his market right here until you get cards like Panini Luminance and Panini Gold Standard, stuff like that are being released early September. Right now, Jalen Wright's like his Panini instants are his top cards, really.
Jonathan, we have the absolute best Discord, so you should join in. Patreon.com/footballcards.
Yeah, solid.
Well, yeah, and the best way to go join it is just go to nooffseason.com and go to Andy's page, click on it, and all the info will be there. And join the No Off Season Network with Paul Hickey and the crew there. Now, we are done here. However, Andy did drop a 40-minute video on a lot of the stuff that we talked about today. A little bit more data, Andy stuff. He's getting in his groove. He's moved in, even though his computer is on fire. And if you are a film study fan, I am devoting Andy more hours to Power Hour NFL, also part of the nooffseason.com network. So we both are teamed up together for this entire football season. I'm signed with No Off Season till February. So I am putting out all the film study analysis you need on my personal opinions on the QBs. I'm not Brett Coleman. I'm not Brian Baldinger, but I think I'm pretty damn good. So make sure you check it out. And Jonathan, sign up now. If Jonathan and you in particular, because you've been messaging me on Instagram a bunch, if you sign up right now, I'll Venmo you the $10 entry. Okay. So if you go sign up for the Patreon right now, I'll zap it over right now. Just message me and I'll take care of that. Okay. We'll talk to y'all next week. Okay. Peace.
Appreciate you guys. Peace.